Debbie Bertante is the mind behind an Indonesian horror exploration channel built around solo camping trips and investigations into abandoned and forgotten locations. Her content takes viewers into remote, unsettling environments and decaying structures, documenting the raw fear and uncertainty that come with going places most people would never dare to visit. On May 25th, 2024, Debbie made her way into a secluded stretch of woodland known as the Pasugian Forest, a place steeped in stories of spiritual ceremonies and encounters that nobody has been able to explain. She arrived deep into the night, located the hidden campsite marked by a white sack tied to a tree, and settled in to face the darkness alone. Almost right away, strange sounds and movements began emerging from the surrounding shadows. What she initially wrote off as wildlife soon became increasingly difficult to rationalize, and a creeping sense that something else shared that forest with her began to take hold.
Oke, saat ini saya mau lanjut santai dulu, setelah itu saya mau masak. Dari tadi tuh sebenarnya di sana saya dengar kayak entah saya tuh dengar suara kayak nangis, tapi kayak ada suara.
Having reached the campsite, Debbie started getting herself ready for the night, but the world around her refused to cooperate. As she rested, unusual noises drifted in from deeper within the trees, making it genuinely difficult to determine what was out there moving through the dark. Animals were the obvious answer, but the rhythm and direction of those sounds didn't quite fit that explanation. With nothing visible to point to, the uncertainty only deepened as she sat there, completely alone in that remote stretch of wilderness. While she slept, the sound of footsteps circling her campsite gave the impression that something was drawing closer. And then without warning, she felt as though something had slammed into her or shoved her clean out of the hammock. She wasn't seriously hurt, but the incident shook her confidence immediately. She described the sensation as resembling sleep paralysis, as though something had come right up to her while she was powerless to respond. Driven by the need to understand what had actually come near her that night, she pushed further into the woods to investigate, a decision she would come to deeply regret.
Assalamualaikum. Saha. Ih, kayak ada yang ngikutin. Ih. Siapa? Nggak bener nih saya megang krisisnya juga. Saya udah merinding banget teman-teman. Ya Allah, nih udah miring-miring nih megang takut nih. Bentar teman-teman ya. Bentar teman-teman. Siapa? Banyak banget interaksi di sana teman-teman. Tapi takut, nggak tahu kenapa. Tumben. Oh, ini semakin masuk ya. Assalamualaikum. Aduh, kan hampir kepleset. Ini nih yang ngeri nih teman-teman. Udah sih. Apaan tuh? Sumpah merinding banget teman-teman. Tuh.
Something shifting near the tree line hinted at a presence lurking just beyond what the camera could pick up. Whether it was an outside disturbance, some environmental variable, or something she simply couldn't name was impossible to say. What made it all the more unsettling was the timing unfolding right on the heels of the unexplained footsteps and movements she'd already noticed. She tried pressing on and exploring further, but the deeper she went, the more intense the sensation of being followed became.
Siapa? Allah, ini tuh kayak mereka tuh saut-sautan gitu tahu teman-teman. Sumpah. Ini kayak pocong lagi. Aduh. Tuh, apaannya tadi ya? Kayaknya kita cabut aja teman-teman. Tidak memungkinkan. Tolong. Jauh banget lagi suara motor kan. Gimana nih mau teriak nih. Tidur di warung aja udah paling bener. Oke, kita keluar. Ini pocong. Banyak banget suaranya. Udah, assalamualaikum. Udah, jangan ada yang ikut. Aduh. Udah. Lah, mana berisik banget lagi nih.
Camera in hand, she kept glancing back over her shoulder, certain that something was keeping pace with her through the trees. The sounds around her multiplied, distant calls, rustling movement through the branches, noises that seemed to answer each other from opposite directions. With fear continuing to build, Debbie made the call that she had pushed this far enough. The sheer distance from any sign of civilization, the absolute darkness pressing in from every side, and the relentless sounds pouring out of the trees made it impossible to go on. What had begun as an investigation into the location's dark reputation had become something else entirely, a situation where her sole focus was getting out. What makes this encounter so difficult to shake isn't any single confirmed moment, but the fog of uncertainty hanging over everything that took place. Why did the forest fill with strange sounds almost the instant she arrived? What was behind that sudden sensation of something crashing into her as she slept? And why did the atmosphere around the campsite shift so sharply from suffocating heat to a biting cold in such a short span of time? It's possible that every one of these events had a perfectly natural cause, but when you stack the isolation on top of the timing, the sounds, and that relentless feeling of being watched, the whole thing becomes a lot harder to wave away. That Debbie walked out of that forest without serious harm likely came down to her composure, her faith, and her ability to think clearly when the pressure was at its worst. In places like this, survival isn't necessarily about having answers. It's about knowing when a situation has crossed a line. Instinct, situational awareness, and the willingness to leave before things spiral further can end up being the only things that matter. And sometimes the encounters that stay with you longest aren't the ones where something steps into the light. They're the moments where nothing ever reveals itself. yet every part of you is screaming that something is there. Deep in a forest, wrapped in stories of rituals and unexplained events, Debbie was left carrying a question that no amount of distance could put to rest. Had she ever actually been alone out there, or had something been watching her from the shadows from the very moment she arrived? YouTuber Awakened Abe and his crew were settling in at their campsite during a through hike along the Appalachian Trail when a violent windstorm rolled in without warning. What unfolded next would have them running for their lives.
Whoa, man. There's gonna be some deadfalls tonight.
Initially, nobody was too alarmed. Some of the other campers even started recording the spectacle on their phones. Then, an emergency weather alert flipped everything upside down. A tornado was bearing down directly on their location.
Where's the library? Library, come on!
As the group bolted toward the truck, Abe kept his camera rolling, capturing the ferocious gusts on film. Trees thrashed wildly overhead, while chunks of debris were hurled through the air like missiles.
We just had the trees come down on top of us almost. It is whipping. Was that your tent it almost missed?
Abe and his crew piled into the truck and floored it out of there, making it out just seconds before the tornado ripped straight through the town. Late one evening in May, beneath a full moon, a woman took a handful of casual snapshots of her backyard. It wasn't until several weeks had passed, as she was scrolling back through the photos, that something strange jumped out at her. There in the corner of a single image was a tiny figure with an orange head. Every other shot from that night showed nothing out of the ordinary, just that one. She'd only moved into the place the previous December, but after dark the house always carried an unsettling feeling, like she was being watched. Now this peculiar little shape was only deepening that unease, and she couldn't shake the question, was it a ghost, a fairy, or something else entirely? Bone-chilling video out of Mexico has been making the rounds online, and the story behind it is genuinely unsettling. It began at a remote campsite tucked deep inside a forest, where a group of friends started experiencing a creeping sense of unease, the unmistakable feeling that something nearby had its eyes on them. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, and that nagging sensation of not being alone only kept growing stronger. On top of that, they discovered some unusual tracks around the perimeter of their camp. Determined to figure out what was out there, one of the group mounted a hunting camera onto a drone and launched it into the air to sweep the surrounding area. Within just a few minutes of hovering overhead, the person controlling the drone caught sight of an extremely tall figure moving through the darkness. What the footage reveals is this. The friends gathered around their campsite, and then, as the drone descends for a closer look, a deeply unsettling silhouette materializes in the background, just standing there staring in their direction. This was no stray member of the group who had wandered into the trees. So the real question remains, what exactly was lurking out there in that forest? Ed City Paranormal's Matt and Josh stepped inside an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere, a location neither of them had ever seen anyone explore before. From the street, it looked compact, but once they were inside, it opened up into something else entirely. Wide wooden floors, walls that leaned at wrong angles, ivy forcing its way through the window frames, and down in the basement, a stone slab that looked disturbingly like something you'd find in a mortuary.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I've come to investigate this creepy old church. I've actually never been here before. Well, I have, but it was weird. So when I came here, it was probably about a month ago now. Bearing in mind it's in the middle of absolute nowhere. All the lights came on and I was like, alright, maybe I can't film this. But whilst I was here, something actually happened. So there was a load of noise inside, which I'll just show you now when I head in. There was a load of sounds, but I thought I can't film it because the lights come on because they're like motion sensor. But then I thought maybe I could, and I leave cameras here and see what happens when the lights go out. That is today's plan, guys. So I'm going to head in, show you around, do some calling out, and then I'm going to leave some cameras in here. Obviously the lights will be on for a little bit, but then the lights should go off. And it'll be interesting to see what the cameras capture while there's no lights on in there. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Matt, I'm paranormal.
The walls had layer upon layer of old wallpaper, stretching back through the decades, dusty jars still sitting on shelves like someone had just stepped out, a Victorian bathtub on the upper floor, and bird nests tucked into virtually every corner. No one could find any history on the place, no one knew who had called it home, and the feeling crept over both of them before a single thing had actually occurred.
Or can anyone show it to me like you're here? I'm hearing so many sounds. Like knocking. Are you making the knocking sound I can hear? Again. Is that you? I can hear it. Sounds like it's coming from here somewhere.
Then, just 6 minutes in, 3 heavy thuds rang out from the floor above. Both men went completely still. Matt said he hadn't experienced a sensation like that inside a building in a very long time. Josh felt it too. Neither of them could bring themselves to move. Up in the bedroom, they picked up something else. Tiny, faint footsteps crossing the gritty plaster floor. Matt asked out loud whether children had ever lived here. The same sound returned twice over. Then came what could only be described as someone weeping. Same noise, same rhythm. Both times. When Matt pushed the question a third time, a clear yes came through, followed by a thud, then yes once more. They packed up and walked out before the investigation was anywhere near finished.
For 6 days now, but 14-year-old Amber Dubois' family is not stopping. The FBI has stepped in, and the family is now working.
Back in 2009, a 14-year-old girl named Amber Dubois went missing on her way to school in Escondido. She had a check on her that day, money meant for purchasing a lamb for a class project. Somewhere between home and school, she simply vanished. Nobody witnessed anything. No surveillance footage captured a thing. Not a single lead.
No clues.
Then a year later, in a remote stretch of land outside the city, human remains were discovered, and they were identified as Ambers. 12 months of unanswered silence had finally come to a close, but somehow it only raised more questions than it answered. On October 29th, 2023, well-known camping content creator Grizzly Gaz ventured into the woods for an overnight stay, but almost immediately something felt wrong. Between the strange sounds, snapping branches, and the fact that his dog just wouldn't settle down, his unease kept growing by the minute.
I'm in this woodland and I've heard that pagans come in here to do their rituals. Is that what you want to call it? So I'm looking for, it's a large down tree and it's around this area somewhere. Right then, let's get set up, shall we?
As day turned into night, he decided to explore the tree which certain cults were said to use for their rituals.
What that place looks like, because it's absolutely pitch black now. And if you get lost in here at night time, it'd be pretty hard to get out of here because it just all looks the same. Definitely feels creepy in here. It does feel creepy down here, but that's because I've got light shining in my face and I can't see out. And
When he made his way back to his tent, the night was nowhere near done with him. It was almost like some kind of curse had taken hold, because what unfolded next left absolutely everyone without an explanation.
I can definitely hear something out there. isn't it, mate? Fucking hell, that was a big branch, wasn't it?
After hearing the same eerie sounds again, he tried to go to sleep until this happened.
Is it just wind or what? I think it's just wind. Let's pick it back up again now. So, I hope there's no widow makers following us. No good, would it, mate? You know, I managed to get my my sleeping bag and everything and get that in my backpack. Then I heard loads and loads of screaming, like shouting from men, and it sounded like there were about 20 or 30 of them. And then they all started running, and it sounded like they were coming towards tent, so I just...
Harbor Explore is a channel built around tranquil wilderness journeys, the kind of content you put on when the real world gets too loud, and that's exactly what this outing to Bindari National Park was meant to be. On this particular trip, Harbor and his friend Shero came across one of the most disturbing things you can stumble upon in the bush, and what makes it truly unsettling isn't just the discovery itself, but the dark history tied to that very location. Once you hear the whole story, you'll get why this one stuck with me long after I watched it.
There's no footprints, but that's a dog print there. That's a big ass dog. They're the big ones. There's a couple of them. There's one a little bit wetter. So look how far in the mud they are. Did you bring a knife? There's a few fairly decent sized bloody dog prints there. Decent sized animal. Not too concerned about it, but that's why I always carry a knife anyway.
They're not overly alarmed, but they definitely take note. Out in terrain like this, you can never be sure what you might encounter. That's why he keeps a knife on him at all times. As they push further along the trail, something else catches their attention. Branches that have been deliberately cut, sliced with clean, deliberate strokes. Somebody has been using this spot for a reason. The question is what? About an hour into the hike, they come across something that shifts the entire mood of the trip.
Alright, here we are. It's a bit weird, eh? It's like a kid's bag there. I can't believe it's still standing. Who knows how long this thing's been here. I mean, the body of the fella was found like 2009. So if it is his, I'm not good at maths, what's that? 15 years or so ago? Surely it can't still be standing. We're gonna have a look around and see what we can find. What is it?
Date of manufacture is 28th of the 3rd, 2007.
Yeah, right. Bloody hell. So it could be that old, eh? Oh, that's a pair of track boots. Lift the bag up. I'm surprised if there's a bloody small item under the hip bag.
There's all orange paint inside it. A travel tag? Yeah, name on it?
That's a coke wrapper.
No.
Dunno.
What brand of bag is it?
It's nothing in it, eh? Yeah, so I don't know if that's a batch number or if that's
You could tell
08, 05, which, if that's 05, that puts it in the day.
So here's the backstory. Roughly 15 years prior, a man's torso was discovered in a creek close to this area. Just the torso. Nothing more, nothing else. Local accounts describe him as someone who was deeply drawn to this national park, a regular out here who loved wild camping and pushing into the more remote sections of the bush. People began to wonder whether this abandoned tent, sitting deep in the trees with no signs of life for kilometers around, could have been his. The dates found at the site, 2005 to 2007, align with the period when he vanished. That thought alone is enough to send a chill through you. They're standing in what may have been the very last place this person ever made camp. And then, while they're still trying to process all of that, something else unfolds.
Yeah, it's creepy in here, eh? I don't know, it's just got a weird feeling. I don't know, you probably would have heard on the video just saying there was like a horn noise. It was only sounded man-made and it was only 100 metres or so away, so it's pretty much the way we're heading down this waterfall. Yeah, it's pretty bloody eerie if this was the actual tent of the torso that was found. Bloody weird. Alright, we're gonna get out of this creepy spot, head down the creek, find this waterfall, then we'll jet out of here. Now, just to add another level of creepiness to the tent and the whole story, there's a supposed cult, bit of a known story, that there's a cult living, bit of a community sort of thing, down the bottom of this creek. Not sure if it's true, again, just a story, but...
Just one more eerie detail layered onto an already deeply unsettling day. Harbour and Shiro decide it's time to head out, passing the tent one final time before beginning the long walk back to their car. So genuinely, what's your take? Was this simply a tragedy? A solo hiker who lost his footing near the creek during a flood and was carried down through that brutal canyon? Or could there be something more sinister connecting the man's torso to the rumored cult said to have been living in these woods? The tent is still out there to this day, a quiet and haunting reminder of someone who ventured into the wilderness in search of adventure. And meet Russ, the man behind Bruce 33, a channel dedicated to uncovering forgotten ruins and historic locations, where history hasn't quite let go. His footage has a way of capturing the haunting allure of places left behind by time, but one particular outing would turn out to be far more unsettling than anything he'd encountered before. On a calm afternoon, Russ headed out to visit a secluded historic location, camera rolling, prepared to document whatever the place had in store. As he made his way toward the site, Russ reflected on its historical significance and confirmed the route they need to follow. The atmosphere carried the heavy scent of wet soil and rot, quietly laying the groundwork for something ominous.
Dude, guys, there are literally 2 caves and woods over here.
No, but it sounds far away.
Yes, but...
Pushing further in, the surroundings became increasingly overgrown and remote. He took a moment to acknowledge the untouched, almost peaceful wilderness around him before pressing on, even as the feeling of total isolation began to creep in.
Ask other people if they hear what that is.
Where are the other people, dude? We should get on a boat.
Guys, I'm not hearing it anymore. First of all, we should
it's
get off
over.
the island.
Do you think it's over?
Because that is loud.
Alright, so we just heard like a weird noise like 4 times. Not hearing it again, but that was weird.
Be a bear. Like, did a bear fall off?
No!
Not a painful noise, I don't think.
Oh shoot! Okay, it was definitely...
The deeper they ventured, the heavier the silence became, interrupted only by the crunch of footsteps and the occasional rustle of leaves. Russ spoke about how life has a way of persisting in places long abandoned by people, until something suddenly grabbed his attention and rattled him, though he tried to shake it off. Without warning, a burst of strange, eerie music pierced the stillness, cranking the tension up several notches. When it died down, he muttered something peculiar about money, almost as if reaching for something ordinary to steady himself. Whether it was a technical glitch or something far harder to explain, nobody can say for certain. The whole experience stuck with him as a quiet reminder that certain places and the mysteries they hold may not be meant for anyone to fully understand. May 19th, 2024. This unsettling footage was captured by the Bell Explorers, a UK urban exploration channel with a reputation for venturing into abandoned, forgotten, and sometimes deeply eerie locations. There's no polished production or professional ghost hunting gear here, just 2 friends, a camera, and whatever darkness decides to throw at them. On this particular night, their destination was Kent, home to the notorious Screaming Woods, a place that has haunted local folklore for as long as anyone can remember. Stories of phantom wailing, drifting shadows, and nameless figures lurking among the trees have been passed down through generations. After dark, most sensible people give it a wide berth. The Bell explorers, however, were not sensible people. They entered the dense woodland with an easy confidence, joking around and treating the whole thing like just another nighttime outing.
Back from Fruxted Mill, the mad cow disease place, and we decided we're going to stop off at Pluckley and see if there's any ghosties. Now, I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm open. I'll see. I'll ask them. See if we can get any footage or anything and make you excited. See you in there. Here we are, guys. Birds are singing. It was looking a little bit dodgy. So guys, we're in the Screaming Woods. We haven't heard anything yet. Not really feeling too creeped out at the minute. But we're going to wait in a bit of silence and maybe ask a few questions and see if we get any answers. So stick around. There's loads of bats, isn't there? I don't know if I can catch one on the camera. They never come past when you want them to. Hello. Is there any spirits present?
As they pushed further in, the atmosphere changed. The air went unnaturally quiet, no wind, no scurrying wildlife, not even the distant call of a night bird. Still, despite the creeping unease, they pressed on. There's an old warning that goes, "Be careful what you wish for." One of them starts deliberately shouting into the blackness, practically daring something to answer back. They taunt the silence, goading whatever might inhabit those trees into making itself known. Minutes tick by, nothing comes back, no voices, no footsteps, just a slow drip of moisture falling from branches overhead. And yet, the forest feels fundamentally different now.
If there are any spirits present, please make a noise or show us that you're here. We're not here to harm you. We don't actually believe in you, but we're hoping that you're gonna prove us wrong. Please just rustle a branch or something. Make yourself known. We're only here for interest, we're not here to harm. I'm saying everything everyone else says to get a reaction. Come and say hi.
Their provocations go unanswered. Only the natural sounds of the woodland and the occasional distant movement in the undergrowth. They move carefully through the trees, speaking in hushed tones, ears tuned for anything out of the ordinary. They call out again, begging for a sound, a signal, some kind of movement, anything to confirm they aren't alone out there. Their laughter comes out nervous and thin, swallowed up by the sheer vastness of the forest around them. Then, a faint tapping, light, measured, almost teasing. One of the explorers react immediately, caught somewhere between excitement and alarm. It's a small sound, but in a place this silent, even the softest knock feels like a violation.
All I can hear is water droplets off the trees. Please change my mind. Make me believe. What's you? I got excited then, I heard this tapping noise. My excitement levels were coming right up. Oh. If there's anyone here, please...
The mood shifts in an instant, the banter dies, every nerve they have tells them to go completely still and listen, and then it happens. A much louder noise, sharp, sudden, and violent, erupts from somewhere further back in the trees. Both of them stop dead. Whatever made that sound is close, far too close. It doesn't sound like wildlife, it doesn't sound like a snapping branch. It feels deliberate, as though something out there in the dark specifically wanted to be heard. That's when the panic sets in. Both explorers agree they've tested their luck long enough and make a break for it, the camera lurching wildly as they crash back through the darkness, trading breathless, frantic whispers about what they just experienced.
Please, Spirit, it'd be nice to contact you. What was that?
You definitely heard it, didn't you?
Yes, come from over there somewhere. Shit.
Spirit, do it again. Definitely see it that time.
Fuck that, shall we go?
Yeah, I think I'm not too keen on that.
Yeah, that. We're getting out of here, guys. I ain't with that. That's not a piece of me, that. I can't deal with that. That is not a piece of me.
I won't bet that one.
I weren't expecting it.
No, I wasn't.
Can't believe that.
No, that's mental. I wasn't expecting to hear anything.
No, it was a... Gotta get out of here. I ain't having that. We'll get back to the car. Ain't a piece of me, that.
Back in the safety of their car, still catching their breath, they try to piece together how fast the night unraveled. It wasn't a ghostly figure or some shadowy apparition that sent them running. It was the sound, the tapping, the sudden violent impact, the overwhelming feeling that something unseen had been responding to them all along. The screaming woods never had to reveal itself. The terror came entirely from what remained out of sight. And sometimes, that's the most frightening kind of encounter there is. The one where you never actually lay eyes on whatever you're fleeing from. Channel Paranormal Discovery is helmed by Lomar Menz, a seasoned urban explorer and ghost hunter, celebrated for his cinematic deep dives into the darkest reaches of the paranormal, always alongside his partner Chelsea. A practicing medium, he weaves together folkloric research and immersive overnight challenges. And in this episode, posted on May 19th, 2025, Lomar heads back to a location that left him both physically and emotionally marked, a stretch of forest in Nova Scotia known as Dagger Woods. Right from the start, this was never going to be just another investigation. Dagger Woods carries a bone-chilling legend stretching back to the 1700s, when a man allegedly killed his wife with a pearl-handled dagger before vanishing into the trees. His body was never recovered, but locals believe his spirit didn't simply fade away. Instead, it fused with something ancient and far more malevolent that had already been lurking in those woods long before him. The result, according to many, is a cryptid or spiritual entity that continues to plague the area to this day. Some identify it as a Wendigo, while others know it only as the Howler. Whatever it truly is, Lomar is convinced it came after him on a prior visit, and now he's returned to face it head-on. This time, he hasn't come alone. He's brought along a group of collaborators called the Outcasts, a crew of explorers from Quebec stepping foot in these woods for the very first time. Despite the excitement in the group, there's an unmistakable undercurrent of unease hanging over everything. Lomar describes the location as a cryptid habitation zone, a place where something that isn't quite human has made its home. Once the team enters the woods, they fan out to cover ground. Some patrol the edges while others push down trails Lomar never got to during his last visit. It's on one of these side routes that things start to spiral.
Whoa, somebody just touched my back! Holy shit, somebody just touched my back! What the f***? Whoa! Whoa, did that just say I know you?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Oh shit. Why do I feel like it's that humanoid that's causing this right now?
Very
Deep down I feel like it's doing something.
Let's just get back to base camp. Safety in numbers. Check on Akia.
The key is in the Jeep though, right?
She's
Yeah,
in the
Kia's
Jeep.
still in the Jeep.
Of course, yeah, she is.
But still, that
And plus the boys are there.
that sounded so freaking close.
Yeah. Now they're gone.
Oh,
wait. Okay, just be slow. Coyotes won't attack.
Oh my, I just heard a clap.
Lomar feels something make contact with his back, cold, purposeful. He whips around, pulse hammering, but there's nobody there. The entire moment is caught on camera, complete with audio distortion and faint whispers underneath. Chelsea, whose instincts have guided past investigations, starts to unravel. The woods feel empty, she says, as though every living thing has been hollowed out. The group pushes forward, determined to go deeper than they ever have before. That's when they arrive back at the exact spot where Lomar was targeted on his previous trip. Armed with thermal imaging and full spectrum night vision, they sweep the surrounding area. One of the outcasts believes he catches something cutting between the trees. Tall, pale, and shaped like a person. Lomar confirms it matches the figure he photographed last time, and by all indications, it's drawing nearer. Then the howling starts. If you're still with us, drop the hidden word dark into comments.
Can you see us? That's insane.
So nauseous.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I can't shake this gut feeling. Like something is just wrong.
Do we need to turn back?
No, we can keep pushing, but like...
Lungs.
Okay, what was that? That was like a bark. From like that way.
That's not a Kia.
No.
Those are coyotes.
Let's go back for key.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Turn your lights on?
Yeah, my light's on.
Stay close to me.
It begins in the distance, but within moments, it's encircling the entire group. The sound is raw and layered, like several voices compressed into one grotesque noise. At that point, the team makes a collective decision. It's time to go. The energy has become overwhelming, and there's The opening video tonight comes from Hauntingly Krista, a Canadian paranormal crew that specializes in investigating historic locations most of us only ever encounter in history books. They've managed to secure rare overnight access to Fort Willem, a former military supply depot, wrapped in enough dark legend to fuel a whole series of documentaries. Choosing to spend the night somewhere with that kind of military baggage is arguably a questionable decision. And yet, here we are, February 20th, 2026, Fort Willow Conservation Area, Barrie, Ontario.
Conservation area with walking trails and tall grass swaying in the wind, Fort Willow was an important military supply depot during the War of 1812. Soldiers moved through here carrying food, weapons, and messages. Canoes once traveled nearby waterways. Fur traders and First Nations peoples used this route for trade long before the British even arrived. It was a lifeline, a critical link connecting Lake Simcoe to Georgian Bay. But life here wasn't easy. The land was rugged, winters were harsh, and tensions were high during wartime. Soldiers stationed here were isolated, far from home, living under strict military discipline. And that's where the darker stories begin. Local legend tells of a British officer who left the fort on a hunting trip and never came back. No body was ever officially recovered. No clear explanation was given. Some say he became lost in the dense forest. Others believe something far more unsettling happened beneath these trees. Another story speaks of a soldier accused of
The opening spirit box session kicks off near the tree line, and the device wastes no time. Voices cut through the static in unmistakable British accents, dropping references to the King's Men and the 30th. Then comes a warning directed at the group. One of the women needs to leave. Seconds later, a sharp, jarring creak erupts right next to the team, close enough to stop everyone dead mid-sentence.
This better be recording. That's recording. I can see the recording light.
This is recording, thank God.
Okay. Thank God. We got two angles.
I wonder if this just... My camera's never died like that.
No, it's full battery. I only got the first 8 minutes and it shut off. That's
Or
never
hang us to death.
something like
Hang
that.
us to death?
So we're here at the blacksmith house. I heard I'm scared again.
What are you afraid of?
Scared?
Yeah?
They push toward the reconstructed blacksmith area, and almost immediately the box starts pulling up some grim callbacks to the fort's history. Then one of the main cameras simply powers off and dies, despite sitting on a fully charged battery.
What the hell was that?
Whoa! Turn it off. Turn it off. It sounds like gunshots. It wasn't the train starting up.
No,
those are three big bags. So either there's someone shooting an actual gun, but that was loud. Again, that's a gun. That's a gun. No way. You said that people hear gunshots here. Residuals. That's crazy. Oh. It's heavy. It's making like, it's not a train, that's for sure. No. The only other thing I'm thinking is fireworks, but no, that wouldn't. It would be more consistent. We'd like see it too. True.
Yeah, it's close enough that we probably see it.
There's nothing out here. That's crazy. Literally, we're in the middle of nowhere. That's a dog. There is a stray dog here.
Further into the fort grounds, the communication gets uncomfortably clear. The spirit box spits out a deeply unsettling message. We need protection from him. That's followed without pause by what sounds like a disembodied command aimed directly at the team. Go back, we're dead.
Please? The main guy came, and now he's telling us to leave?
Maybe.
Would you like us to move on to another?
It just said Rhonda Farm.
It said
Back
what?
to back. Rhonda Farm.
Get out of here. What? Why would you say that?
Were you listening to our conversation from earlier?
Rhonda?
Yeah, you were just talking about the farm.
Let them leave.
I'm floored.
Well, you're gonna let us leave. We're not gonna get stuck here.
Stay.
Hello.
Nope. Go.
Really
Go.
creeped out right now.
Yeah.
What about me and what about the farm?
Better?
What did she say?
Oh, you better. Was someone sick?
Rhonda's good.
Rhonda's good. I try to be.
Fort. Where?
Those wearing blindfolds had independently spoken the exact same phrases at the exact same moments, with the most striking example being the reference to Rhonda's farm. Physically rattled, cold, and dealing with disorienting heat pockets and a swaying sensation, the team takes the hint and calls it a night. The battery died at the worst possible moment, the camera cut out without explanation, and somehow the box surfaced details nobody had mentioned out loud. Coincidence? Sure, maybe. But at places like this, you find yourself drawing connections between dots that might not actually line up. Or maybe they do. Either way, that one got a little too close for comfort. In October, Jordan and his wife Lise were out camping on public BLM land close to Bryce Canyon, when a routine drone flight suddenly became their most frightening experience. They had spent 5 days at that campsite, and a fellow camper had been parked nearby for just as long. The atmosphere felt calm and uneventful, right up until Jordan decided to take his drone up to film the mountains at sunset. Within just a few minutes of getting it airborne, the neighboring camper stormed over, and he wasn't coming to make friendly conversation. He showed up hostile, throwing out profanity, and got right up in Jordan's face.
Is that your drone?
It is.
Sitting right over my camp?
Oh.
It's over here.
I see over there. A minute ago it was over my camp.
It literally hasn't gone past my head.
Bullshit.
It literally hasn't.
Bullshit.
I can show you my videos.
Listen, that's
Sir.
where I'm staying. Don't fly your drone over
You
my
think I
camp.
care about your camp more than these mountains?
You want me to kick your Is that it? Is that the best result?
Is that the way you want to go?
I'll go that way. I don't have a
no
problem
one's
with it.
trying to look into your camp.
We'll put the drone away.
I'm just trying to get these mountains.
That's the answer.
That's not the answer. I'm gonna get shots.
You put the drone over my camper, I'm gonna kick your
That's fine. Look, the drone will not go beyond this fan.
It has not a minute ago.
Well, if it did, I apologize. But
you off, I'm gonna kick your so you get it over there again.
Yeah.
You understand?
Sure. I understand.
You had the right answer.
Sorry about that. We'll put the.
I'm
He's
not
just trying to get the mountain.
I'm just trying to get the mountains. I have nothing
The
to do with
mountain's
this.
over there.
Yes, look.
You just had it over my camp.
Because I'm shooting going towards the mountain.
I don't care what you're shooting.
Going towards the mountain.
We'll put
Don't
it
put the drone over my camp. You understand?
We won't put the drone over your.
Just stop talking
Do
to
you
him. Stop
understand?
talking to him. Sir, I told you
You
it
don't
won't.
want to wipe your
I
up
said
up
it
off
won't
there,
go
sir.
past the van.
Do it again,
Sure.
and I'll you up.
Sure. It
You
won't
wanna
go
do
past
the mountain, do the mountain.
It won't go past the van. I already said that.
Good answer.
I said that before.
Dude, I'll shoot the drone out of the air and I'll kick the out of your
Sure.
ass.
Sure. I won't bring it towards your van.
Good idea.
Yes.
You just put the drone away.
I'm not putting the drone away. I'm getting my shot like I was in the first place.
Excuse me?
Sir, just go
You
back
wanna
to your...
talk about some more?
I said I'm not putting the drone away like she said because I'm going to get my shot. And then I'll put the drone away.
But he's not gonna go over your.
I'm not going to your RV, dude.
You already were. I'm about to kick anyways.
I can literally show you the videos
I'm
I
about
took.
to you up anyways.
Okay.
So knock it
Okay,
off.
we're done. We're done.
Don't put it over my
Sure,
camp.
I already said that.
That's all you have
That's
to.
fine.
Then shut the up, dude.
You're still here.
I am.
Babe, stop.
And you're about to get ready to get in trouble.
You just put the drone away. It's not worth it.
Dude, just go away.
No, you just watch yourself.
Bro, I'm not flying it over.
That's enough.
Shut your
You're
mouth.
talking to me.
I am.
Okay, we're done then. We're done.
That's enough.
I won't fly it near your RV, like I said before.
Dude,
okay? Deal?
Is this your place?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Do something.
Babe, stop.
Don't
About
say good
what?
to know. Don't listen. If
Please stop. Please stop.
if you're gonna threaten me, just
Please
like
stop.
I wouldn't threaten you, what do you expect? Is this your place?
No.
I didn't say that to you.
Say what?
Is this your place? Good to know.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means you're flying the drone over my place, and you're telling me this is your place.
Dude, this isn't my place. I'm just on public land trying to get video of the mountain.
Take you down, dude.
Dude,
Just stop. Stop.
You should
please.
be careful.
listen.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's just start over.
I'm gonna
Let's
get your
just start over.
license plate. You
Let's-
don't know who the I am.
That's fine. Let's start over.
No, I ain't starting over. Keep your drone over off the top of my place.
That's fine.
It.
Okay.
You've been here for a while since I've been there.
I have.
No problem. Your
Sure.
drone just flew over my place.
And I
Keep the
apologize. And
That's all you had
and
to answer, dude.
Well, because I didn't fly it over your RV, but I apologize if it went over it. My apologies. It won't go further than
Don't
the
tell
fan.
me
It won't go further
what
than...
I've seen.
Okay.
Like I'm making.
Later that same evening, things took an even more unsettling turn. The aggressive man left his campsite on foot, but his RV stayed right where it was. Jordan and Lise watched him drive away, and a deeply uncomfortable thought crept into both of their minds. What exactly was he going out to retrieve? They didn't stick around to find out. Within moments, they broke down their entire camp and cleared out, the same spot they'd been calling home for the past 5 days. Finding out what the man planned to do when he came back simply wasn't a risk worth taking. When Jordan reviewed the drone footage afterward, the most troubling detail became obvious. The drone had never once gone near the man's campsite. It had been hovering directly over Jordan's own camp, aimed at the mountain range ahead. The neighbor's RV never appeared in a single frame. The man's furious reaction was built entirely on something that never happened, but that didn't make the confrontation feel any less threatening. This had nothing to do with privacy concerns or property boundaries. He was searching for a reason to get in someone's face, and Jordan's drone handed him that opening. The couple later shared how they handled the situation with viewers who were worried about them.
No, we weren't in a national park, we weren't in a state park. I was legally able to fly my drone where we were.
We were on public BLM land.
We were completely within our rights to fly where we were. For those of you wondering, I've been flying drones for 2 years. I am trust certified, and my smallest drone does not have to be registered, but my other drone does, so I follow all the FAA rules and regulations. On the DJI app, it has an integrated GPS system, which shows you no-fly zones. This is what it looks like. I'm going to go to the spot that we were at. For those wondering, you see this spot? We're right in here. This is referencing other people that flew their drone in this area. Moving on from that, why did you fly over his camp? Now, I'm pretty respectful. If someone has a problem with something, you come to me and ask me properly. I would have had no problem abiding by whatever he wanted. But at the same time, he was there for 4 days. For those of you saying, "Oh, why did you disturb the peace like you're in nature?" Blah blah blah. Sure, He was there for 4 days. He enjoyed nature, guys. I flew my drone for 10 minutes. And the only reason I flew it for 10 minutes is because...
In the world we live in today, people have lost their lives over disputes far more trivial than an argument about a drone. Road rage incidents, fights over parking spots, petty disagreements at a dinner table. It takes almost nothing for a situation to turn violent. That remote stretch of public land wasn't nearly as peaceful as it appeared. And sometimes the greatest threat you'll encounter out in the wild isn't something lurking in the dark. It's whoever happens to be set up in the campsite right beside you. The sixth and final clip of the evening comes from Global Optic, a paranormal investigation channel out of the UK helmed by a grounded, no-nonsense crew that includes brothers Connor and Brad. Their specialty is late-night expeditions to derelict sites, ghost hunting with gadgets, and chasing down EVP anomalies. It's the 9th of July, 2026 at Willsbridge Mill in the United Kingdom.
Mill, and the surrounding woods is known to see some apparitions. You know what we're here to do?
Ghost hunt.
Ghost hunt. Pretty chill here, actually. Apart from the bugs. Right, guys, let's crack on. Mosquito. Let's get into the hunting. The hunting. Oh, they're joggers. Joggers and...
This is St. Anne's Church. It's an Anglican church dating back to the 19th century, built to serve the rural communities surrounding Willsbridge, Oldlands Common and Longwell Green. It sits on land that was once part of the wider Kingswood Chase, the same ancient forest.
Seated beside a massive hollowed-out tree, the team is attempting to make contact with whatever might be listening. The ambient sounds of the night are suddenly torn apart by a disembodied whisper aimed directly at one of them. Hostile, deliberate, definitely.
I heard Brad and like Tom was.
Yeah, I heard Brad and Tom. Yeah.
Brad, stop.
Is that you?
What?
Are you watching a video?
No.
What? Oh yeah, you are. It's coming out of there.
The volume's up.
The sound's never come out of that though. In all the things we've done.
Ah. See? It's a live recording.
But I'm not recording.
I mean, like, it's live right now.
Yeah, it's a live view. That sounds evil. Connor wants to fight you. The times you saw Jill. I like how she's putting you forward for the duel.
Thy battle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Jesus loves you.
Did you know Sophie's a witch?
She threw the pistol up. So you said Jesus loves you.
No, that's a witch.
Yep. Bam. Jesus loves you.
Or come back.
Now he really wants to fight you because you're a little bitch. Talk to it. Like, make conversation.
Talk to me.
Hold his hand.
Bro, just call me Doodoo. Not having that.
Vocal.
Not the wind. Just as they're trying to convince themselves they somehow heard their own voices reflected back, the spirit communication device spits out another phrase. Jesus loves you. Then, almost instantly, something sharp and aggressive follows, which, that contradiction doesn't read as coincidence. It feels calculated. The team eventually packed up and moved on to a nearby derelict stone villa, being slowly swallowed by the surrounding woodland, where they uncovered something unsettling. This stretch of forest has a well-documented history of occult activity. That detail reframes every single thing that unfolded back in the circle. What started as a straightforward camping investigation ended up feeling like a psychological ambush by something that had been paying close enough attention to learn exactly how they speak. Honestly though, I won't be getting much sleep after that one. And that's a wrap for tonight. If you've stuck around this long, you're either genuinely fearless or your decision making could use some serious work. Ave and her boyfriend Brian had just moved into their new home in Gainestown, USA. a picturesque spot nestled along the edge of a thick forest. The two had been dreaming of a quieter life surrounded by nature, and this house felt like exactly the kind of sanctuary they'd been searching for. They spent their first evening there, unpacking boxes and raising a glass to fresh starts and peaceful surroundings. When they finally drifted off that night, it was to the gentle, soothing sounds of the woods outside. But that peace didn't last long. In the dead of night, a blood-curdling shriek tore through the darkness. Jolted awake, Maeve and Brian lay frozen in bed, their hearts hammering. The noise came from somewhere far off, yet it cut through the night with startling clarity. A shrill, piercing wail that seemed to rise from somewhere deep inside the forest. They crept toward the window to get a better sense of it, the cold night air pressing against their skin as they strained to listen. Then, just as suddenly, the woods fell completely silent again. The following morning, the couple spent hours digging through the internet for anything that might explain it. Maybe a fox, maybe some kind of owl. Nothing they found really put their minds at ease. Over the next several nights, the screaming kept coming back, never at the same hour, never with any warning. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Brian suggested they try to record whatever was out there. Armed with Maeve's phone, they waited and eventually caught the whole thing on video. They threw the clip up on TikTok, and the reaction was immediate. The comments exploded with theories. Some people were convinced it was a screech owl doing what screech owls do, while others were equally sure it had to be a fox. But then something more unsettling started to emerge. Local after local began sharing that they'd heard the exact same thing near their own homes. Even with all the back and forth, nobody could say for certain what was behind it. So what do you think? A creature of the night, something supernatural, or something else entirely? Drop your theories in the comments. Here's the chilling footage of a group of campers on the African savannah, capturing the exact moment things took a terrifying turn when the apex predator of the continent came prowling through their sight. At one point, one of the campers lifted the tent flap to check whether the lions had moved on, and he couldn't have been more mistaken. That camper got away with it, but barely. The lion that swung its gaze in his direction could have covered that ground in less than 3 seconds. There would have been no chance to retreat, no opportunity to seal the tent, no moment to react at all, just enough time to realize what was coming. And he, the YouTube channel Proving Demons, decided to venture into an abandoned mine shaft that locals claim is a gateway to the underworld.
Everyone, to the gates of hell. I don't even know if God can help us beyond this point. Welcome to the gates of hell, everybody. We're in.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Alright, go on, Andrew. I'm gonna film you going through that.
The deeper they went, the stranger things became.
My life, our life, all the boys, is literally just Minecraft in real life. Isn't it? I mean, this is just flat out Minecraft in real life. Oh God, I've just come up to something quite odd. There's just a black door down here. It's only one way to find out what's behind it. Being weighted with a rock. Obviously not strong enough to keep me out. What's up?
What have you found?
Shh.
Don't know if it was the echoes from you walking, but I had to stop because it sounded like people just like walking behind me talking.
Really?
So, yeah, I got freaked out. I had to turn around and move. I got frozen. I didn't want to walk.
And so the journey begins. At a certain point, the group divided, and one member began picking up unsettling sounds that left him completely rattled.
Moaning. What the hell is that? Oh God, it's getting louder. hear that? Oh God, I don't like that. Crap, I need to try and catch some of it on recorder. There's some hellish noises going on. Oh God, I can't go that way though. I just heard like a whisper, well, like a breathing. I don't want to be near that though.
Terrified, he hurried back, waiting nervously for the others.
Alright, so I just came running up to the guys. Okay, be honest with me. Were any of you guys moaning, banging like drum beats? Were you anything like that?
Yeah, I just left my drums back there.
You left your drums there. The reason I ask is because, no lie, after I had walked quite a ways away from you guys, it honestly sounded like the entrance to hell. I could hear boom, 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 and there's something going, ooh. Like, it was really faint and like muffled.
They call us the gates of hell.
Yeah, I know.
Fortunately, everyone got out in one piece, though the mystery lingered. What exactly was lurking inside and producing those noises? One thing is certain, they have no intention of going back to find out. Sarah had just wrapped up making dinner, pasta, nothing elaborate, when the knocking started. Hard, sudden, far too aggressive to dismiss, and far too aggressive to mean anything good. Her van was sitting outside a Cracker Barrel in Asheville, North Carolina, a spot that plenty of van dwellers would recognize. Seemed safe enough. She'd spent the previous night at one, just like it, without any trouble at all. But this stop was going to be different. A man was at her side door shouting, throwing accusations. He was convinced the woman inside that van had broken his heart. She had no idea who he was, and he refused to believe it. He began circling the vehicle, panel by panel, window by window. She could track him from inside. The sound of him testing the metal, trying every surface for a weakness, a way to get in. She killed the lights, shut off the propane, and went still. Then he said something. A threat. The kind of words that told her this situation wasn't going to resolve itself. So she moved, she backed out and rolled away slowly, trying not to send everything in the cabin crashing around her. Though honestly, she didn't care if it did. She just needed distance. She rounded the corner, dialed the police, then kept going. 10 miles, 20, up into the mountains, 2,000 feet above where any of that had happened. She found a quiet place to stop. 3 hours passed, and she still hadn't touched her food. The pasta was sitting there cold. She had pepper spray, a knife, a few other things she didn't get specific about, but none of it had felt like the right answer. She didn't want a confrontation. She just wanted to. Second clip tonight comes from Gaziano Outdoors, a UK-based channel where a guy named Gaz spends his weekends camping alone in spots that photograph beautifully but take on a completely different energy once the sun disappears. He blends bushcraft with eerie folklore, cooking over open fires in the kinds of places where most people would hear one strange sound and immediately start Googling nearby hotels. While the average visitor comes to Gritch Castle to admire the stonework, Gaz set up his tent in the woodland at its base. He made it home, and he brought the footage with him. September 13th, 2023. Gritch Castle Estate, Abergale, Wales.
Yeah, we're camping in quite a creepy woodland in the grounds of Gritch Castle, which was the castle used in the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here series in Wales. But yeah, just over the way there's Emily's Tower as well, so I'm going to check that out in a bit. Yeah, it's a really interesting place, really. So yeah, I'm camping in this tonight, the Helm 1 Compact. My brother's just setting up the Van Gogh blade. Yeah, we've left it a bit late really. We're exploring the forest all day. We've had a little walk up to Emily's Tower. We've explored some caves as well.
Gaz settles on a clearing within an open stretch of trees. Not his first choice, he admits, but the active badger sets dotted across the area forced his hand. He gets the tent up as the daylight drains away, already narrating the vibe. The way the canopy seems to tighten around you, the sense that this particular corner of forest has been undisturbed for reasons that go back much further than any tourist trail.
Estate. He said a white lady, which could be Emily herself, walks this woodland. Well, it's just a really interesting place, really. The views out the window.
While it's still light, he heads up to Lady Emily's Tower, an 1830s folly sitting on the hillside above, constructed as a summer retreat and now little more than a hollow shell. Gaz walks through the local legend, the White Lady, widely believed to be Lady Emily herself, said to wander the estate and the woods surrounding it. He delivers it with a grin, treating it like atmosphere background color for the video, but his tone shifts noticeably as the last of the sunlight slips behind the castle walls.
Footage there, setting up a trail camera. Could hear a bit of rustling last night around the tent. Early hours, 4 in the morning. Wouldn't be surprised if it was badgers. Brother's just packing away his tent now. Just having a little walk back to Lady Emily's Tower. Just approaching the tower now. Nice little walk through the pine forest.
Morning came without anything dramatic to report. Damp equipment, a hot coffee, the unremarkable ritual of breaking camp. He hiked back up to Lady Emily's Tower in the daylight, no White Lady in sight, and every rustle in the undergrowth had a perfectly reasonable explanation. Wildlife being wildlife, most likely badgers. Almost certainly badgers, but there's a gap between almost certainly and definitely, and that gap feels a lot wider at 4 a.m. In the pitch black beneath the castle, with a ghost story attached to it. Personally, I'll take a campsite with actual amenities. Sleeping beneath haunted follies is not something I need to experience firsthand. It's 6 p.m., and the light is already dying in ancient woodland, where these trees have been standing since long before anyone you know was alive. He's got a bivy bag, a rehydrated meal, and the kind of deep quiet that feels restorative at first, and starts messing with your head shortly after. Darkness has a habit of arriving faster when you're somewhere that doesn't quite want you there. You'll want to see what unfolds next. Thousands of viewers were tuned in live when everything shifted in a direction no one saw coming. A streamer making his way through the forests of Indonesia stumbled upon lit torches deep within the trees, along with what looked like some kind of ritual actively unfolding in the darkness. Standing at the center of it was a shadowy form that resembled nothing found in nature. The instant it appeared to register the camera's presence, it disappeared without a trace. No noise, no motion, just gone.
Hey!
That broadcast from 2003 continues to circulate across the internet to this day, and not a single convincing explanation has ever been offered for what that figure actually was. This couple decided to push their limits, taking on the notorious Oahu Ridge Trail in Hawaii. The path is razor thin, brutally steep, and offers zero protection from the elements. One misstep and you're tumbling into a fatal drop below. Tragically, a 30-year-old hiker recently plunged 250 feet along this exact stretch and lost his life. The Honolulu Fire Department confirmed he was part of a group of 4, one of whom was a local Hawaii resident. Just a few days before that, another visitor slipped from the same trail and sustained a severe head injury. In total, at least 5 people have now lost their lives on this ridge. April 28, 2024, Hokkaido, Japan. Local police released dashcam footage recorded inside a truck occupied by 2 men as they made their way down a forest road in the early afternoon, somewhere around 1 p.m. Everything appeared completely uneventful at first. The truck crept along a narrow stretch of road, hemmed in by thick woodland on either side, with nothing suggesting anything was about to go wrong. But that calm didn't hold for long. Without warning, a bear emerged from the tree line on the right. The truck slowed and nearly stopped altogether, and that turned out to be the moment the animal launched itself directly toward them. The driver floored it, desperate to put distance between themselves and the bear. The truck surged ahead, but the animal kept pace behind them for a brief stretch before finally giving up the chase and retreating back into the trees. It was later revealed that the 2 men had been out hunting in that area earlier that day. According to wildlife experts, their truck had most likely passed between a mother bear and her cub, and that intrusion was what set off the attack. Paranormal discoveries. Lomar wasn't a stranger to Ghost Road. On a previous visit, he'd returned to his car in the morning to find sticks carefully arranged on the hood, placed with intention, not scattered by chance. Nothing remotely like it had happened before, and it hadn't happened since. Still, he returned, this time bringing his dog Kia along for company.
This is big. crazy out here. It's crazy how in the deep woods you could be having a good time and then all of a sudden like the mood in the forest can like just changes, you know what I mean? This is so good, man. Like, dude. Whatever that sauce is, this spice goes such a long way, man. Try this. Smoky Ranchero, sorry, by Clubhouse, La Grill. You hear that too, eh? There's movement. Okay, I shut the camera off for a bit. There's whistling, like loud whistling.
Something big was moving through the trees on the far side of the campsite. The spirit box crackled to life. I liked the forest. At that exact moment, Kia froze and locked her gaze in the same direction. Then came the whistling, sharp and clear from the tree line, deliberate, rhythmic. Absolutely not the wind. What was out there?
Are you kidding me right now? The light just turned off. I literally, whoa, bro. Gotta get a new light already. I prepared for that, but I kid you not, that was a full battery. I had an extra one out just in case, but it never gave me a low battery warning or never.
I like to play games.
Excuse me? Where are you? Are you around us right now? What the shit, bro? And then it said, do you like to play games? Hold on. This is, what the?
Did you hear us?
Yeah. I think I heard you guys, if we're talking about the same noise. Heard you loud and clear. Are you a cryptid? Or are you a spirit?
Terror.
Terror. Are you trying to cause terror to me? Yo, I kid you not, this is getting weird now. Like, it just feels like a trickster came to play.
The flashlight cut out without any warning, battery still full. Then the spirit box asked, do you like to play games? And then pure dread. Whatever was lurking in those woods wasn't looking for a conversation. It was looking to provoke.
What is that? Y'all hear that? What the shit? Whoa. Had to reposition the camera. Accidentally shut it off. Okay. Is that an owl or is that a Sasquatch species? It doesn't sound like an owl. The tent door is so tight right now, I literally can't see through it if I wanted to. I'm in trouble. What the hell? I'm like confused. Like, that did not sound orthodox to an owl. it's like over there and then over there. Okay, this is getting weird. Okay, I'm just gonna listen out at this point.
Once they'd settled in for the night, sounds began circling the campsite. Not an owl, the source kept shifting, bouncing from one side to another, far too unpredictable, far too purposeful. Kia stirred from sleep and tracked the movement in complete silence.
Oh. What the shit, bro? Thank you. Holy shit. Whoa. That came from in here. No, okay, wait, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in right now because this might be the night. What is this? And why is this spot so much more like active? Now, coming from someone who actually camped way down, just around the bend there, what if it's coming from where I camped last time? Oh shit, how do I get across? I'm gonna take this off of the tripod. Okay. I'm not gonna go far because I want to get back to Kia. But okay. Let's freaking get this, man.
Lomar whistled out into the darkness. Something whistled right back. He pushed further into the woods, heading toward the spot where he'd made camp the previous year. The sound stayed ahead of him the whole time, drawing him deeper in. Eventually he stopped, turned around, and walked back to the tent. The moment he quit following, whatever it was went completely silent. While out hiking through the forest, one man came across something he simply couldn't make sense of. Standing right before him was a bizarre figure. Long hair, a lengthy beard, and perhaps most unsettling of all, skin that was entirely blue. The figure made no attempt to move or communicate. It simply remained there, motionless, staring back at him. The man chose not to push his luck and slowly retreated from the scene. He eventually posted the footage online, and the reactions were all over the place. Some viewers were convinced the figure belonged to an isolated, undiscovered tribe, while others suggested it could be a homeless individual who had spent so much time living deep in the wilderness that he had completely lost touch with. The Eerie Ice Park is nestled within the Uncompahgre Gorge, just outside Eerie, Colorado. Each winter, water gets pumped onto the canyon walls, building enormous frozen columns that draw climbers from across the globe. It's widely regarded as one of the more forgiving venues for the sport, but ice doesn't care about reputations. It shifts, fractures, and melts on its own schedule, and when you're hanging off a frozen cliff with nothing between you and the ground but a pair of axes and spiked boots, even minor changes in conditions can transform a standard ascent into a tragedy. Kennedy's Gully ranks among the park's most recognized routes. On this particular day, a group of seasoned climbers had already reached the top when they spotted someone below them. A solo climber working his way steadily upward. His movements were measured and confident, the kind of rhythm that comes from real experience. But those watching from above could see something he had no way of knowing. The ice he was climbing was failing. Warmer temperatures throughout the day had caused the frozen sheet to begin pulling away from the rock behind it. From their vantage point, the deterioration was obvious. From his position, it was completely invisible. One of the climbers, a woman, shouted down to him. She told him they had a rope and were preparing to rappel, then asked the question that may well have determined whether he lived or died. She asked if he could hold on.
Shit. He's losing us.
Hey, we got a rope if you want it.
You want a rope?
We're setting up for a rappel. Can you hang on?
That'd be great.
We'd love to do that.
He answered calmly, said that would be great, but the voices coming from above told an entirely different story. Every word carried a sharp edge of urgency. They understood exactly what was unfolding below them. What came next was one of the most gripping real-time rescues ever recorded on camera. The group scrambled to build a rope system as fast as they could. They called down asking if he was stable.
Do you have something to clip a loop into?
What's that?
Do you have something to clip a loop into?
I got you set right here.
That's not.
Yep.
Hang on a second, dude. This one isn't fixed.
Well, I'm clipped in.
Put them on belay. Do you have them on belay?
Yep, put them on belay. Hang on a second.
Do you have them on belay?
Hang on, you're not on belay yet.
He confirmed he was. The communication above was frantic, voices overlapping, cutting each other off. Someone called to get him on belay. Another confirmed it. A third warned they weren't set yet and to hold tight. Every second mattered. The ice could let go at any moment, and if he wasn't clipped in when it did, there would be no coming back from that. They managed to get a line down to him. He clipped in. Then the ice went.
Golden.
Wait.
Thank you very much. Wait.
Wait. Let's put this up here. Put it in here just to redirect.
He's climbing. He's falling.
Got him. Got you. I so got.
The entire frozen sheet tore away from the wall and collapsed under his feet. He dropped. Shouts erupted from above, and then, almost immediately, the rope snapped taut. The belay held. The climber was suspended in the air, alive, but the situation was far from resolved. The group switched into full extraction mode. Someone suggested rigging a 3-to-1 pulley system.
Oh, God. There, tell me who was that.
Yeah, good.
Okay. You're not going anywhere. So got you. So we're setting up Hold on, I got you. Keep walking up.
Why don't we do a 3-to-1 pulley? I've got a pulley in the back of my harness.
Can you get over that ice to your right, maybe?
What's that?
They guided him from above, instructing him to move toward the ice on his right and keep his legs moving as they hauled the rope. One rescuer kept talking to him, reassuring him she had him and that he wasn't going anywhere. Inch by inch, they pulled him up through the ruined gully until his hands finally found the top edge. When he dragged himself over onto solid ground, all he could get out was a breathless thank you. The others told him to sit down and breathe. Someone mentioned,
"Hey, Manny, when you come up here, there's running water. So don't be surprised." That was just not a moment too soon.
Damn, thank
you. Well, we knew what it was like when we came up this morning. Come on, come up here and rest. Come and rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna come underneath it.
I so got you. It's okay. There's water right there. Take a deep breath.
They had already noticed how badly the conditions had degraded that morning. They had seen the gully coming apart before the man had even begun his climb. There were no cameras rolling for content, no live audience tuned in, just a handful of strangers on a frozen mountain who saw someone in serious danger and simply refused to walk away. Sort of interesting is a channel run by a guy named Dan, an avid wild camper who lives for those nights spent under an open sky tucked into his bivy bag somewhere remote across the UK. His videos cover stealth camping, bushcraft, and the pure satisfaction of getting out into nature. This particular outing began with what seemed like a pretty straightforward idea. Having already wrapped up dinner with his family, Dan decided to slip out for a late-night stealth camp, his third BV bag trip in just 8 days. Drawing inspiration from some extreme stealth camping content he'd been watching, he pushed through tall grass and dense ferns in search of a small clearing where he could vanish for the night. The plan was stripped back to basics: travel light, set up fast, and melt into the surroundings. What could possibly go wrong?
So I am definitely concealed, although that might only count if I'm about 2 feet from the ground at most. So I'm just going to have a quick scout around this area for somewhere that's a little clearer to put maybe my basic ground sheet poncho down. But this is already quite amusing and humorous an activity to try and do.
He eventually found a patch of tall grass hemmed in by ferns and trees. The concealment wasn't ideal. He could barely perch on his camp stool without poking above the vegetation, but it was good enough for a single night. Dan rolled out his poncho tarp as a ground sheet, got his bivy bag sorted, and settled in hoping for a quiet few hours. From the very beginning though, it wasn't exactly peaceful. Dog walkers were passing through, chainsaws were echoing somewhere across the valley, crows were kicking up a fuss, and at one point Dan came practically face to face with one of those dog walkers on his way back to his spot. Not exactly the definition of staying hidden. Even so, once night properly closed in, things seemed to settle. Dan zipped himself into his bivy bag and felt that familiar sense of warmth and invisibility that comes with being pressed so close to the ground. He figured that was it. The drama was done, and sleep was finally on the cards.
Absolutely mad here. I swear there's been like a firefly. I'm gonna shut up. I can hear... I think I can hear footsteps. I can't... I am keeping an extreme low profile right now. I think that the laser was coming from the far side of the trees, but I'm not 100%. I don't think it was actually aimed at me. I think it was just shining a laser for the sake of it. But it's certainly woken me up a little bit. But to be honest, it's been quiet for about 10 minutes now, so I'm not too worried. There's a dog in here!
Then this unfolds. Lying in his bivy bag, completely relaxed and drifting off, Dan suddenly clocks bright lights cutting straight toward him. Before he even had a moment to think, someone was right on top of him, directing what looked like a laser at his position. In a total panic, the only words he could get out were, "There's a dog in here." In his own words, he went from being fast asleep to the most alert he'd ever been in his entire life, all in the space of a single second. Fortunately, Dan's minimal kit meant he could gather everything up in under 2 minutes and be gone. Just like that, his third bivy adventure in 8 days was brought to an abrupt and jarring end. What makes this whole thing so unsettling is the way it cuts against the unwritten code of wild camping. When you're out there seeking a quiet night in the middle of nowhere, the absolute last thing you want is someone deliberately hunting you down with lights and lasers. Were they just nosy locals? A group of teenagers out looking for mischief? Or was there something more sinister going on? This is precisely why seasoned campers like Dan always come back to the same advice. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it usually is, and sometimes the smartest move you can make is to quietly pack up and disappear into the dark. This clip comes from the YouTube channel Man Dog Wild, where a creator named Johan, someone many of you will already be familiar with, has spent the last 4 years bringing his audience along on rugged camping and survival journeys. His love for the great outdoors runs deep, and his channel is a showcase of the raw beauty and excitement that comes with living close to nature. On this particular outing, Johan heads back into the wild to do exactly what he loves most. But rather than simply soaking up the peace and quiet, he's decided to shake things up with a paranormal investigation, driven by a gut feeling that there's something lurking on this land that can't easily be explained. It's February 9th, 2025. Johan is in high spirits as the adventure gets underway, making the most of the pleasant weather while he scouts out the right location to pitch camp for the evening. Once he locks in the perfect spot, he brews himself a hot coffee and takes a moment to unwind before the daylight fades.
The old caterpillars are becoming a little bit problematic. I put my bag down, I put it up on a tree, no matter where, my bag, my jumper, they always find their way onto it. And so I have to spend a little bit of time making sure that they're off it before we proceed. So just to reiterate, the apps that we're using throughout this investigation supposedly work through electronic frequency or something like that, okay? I'm no expert. But it allows spirits or whatnot to communicate through the device.
With camp sorted, the sun starts to sink below the tree line, painting the landscape in a strange, unsettling light. Wasting no time, Johan pulls out his ghost hunting apps and gets to work. He gives them a solid run, but the results are underwhelming. Everything reads quiet, with zero sign of anything supernatural. His dogs, however, are a different story.
You barking at something. What is it? What is it? She's alerted. She's on high alert. She's down there. You down there, DC? Is it? I hope there's Yeti. DC's off. She's gone. Torch. Fucking birds, huh? Birds always be playing like they're the things that startle you most out here. When the birds just take off, you just don't expect it, and then.
The sudden sound of a bird bursting from the undergrowth gives Johan a small wave of comfort, leading him to think maybe the dogs were just picking up on a nearby animal rather than anything more troubling. He lets out a breath and carries on with his evening. But just as he goes to give one of the apps another shot, something shifts in the atmosphere. There's a charged, uneasy feeling in the air, and Johan can't convince himself that what he's hearing is just the wind. Something is out there, and his dogs clearly sense it too.
I just heard some kind of... What the fuck, huh? Yeti? What's going on, Yeds? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Let me in on that secret test. You okay? What's the problem? Okay. I don't know why she's sitting right behind me growling. Test again? Okay, yes, but I prefer it if you didn't growl at me, huh? Like, I don't mind during the daytime when we're not in the middle of a dark woods. You're sitting right behind me growling. What?
That realization only made the discomfort harder to shake, and Johan found himself struggling to explain what was happening around him. Still, despite his ghost hunting tools coming up empty, he wasn't ready to pack it in. He took a moment to collect himself and pushed forward, determined to get some kind of answer before the night was through.
This person's name? Can I sit down? Is it safe? What the fuck is that? Huh?
Ralph.
Your name is what? Ralph. Jesus, good timing, Ralph. I was just concentrating on something. What is this? Literally right where I was about to sit. His hair. Dark hair. Yes, I hear something. Yes, there. Eddie. Be alert, please. I'm walking around in there. We're right by this little trail. It's good. Ralph, can you explain to me Is that you I hear, Ralph? You're moving around. You're moving around, Ralph. Is that you? I don't know.
I'm right here.
Yeah. That, okay. Why is that so zoomed in? Jeez. They are not reacting. It's, that's the scariest thing about this whole thing. So, Ralph, you're right here with me. Do you want me to leave? Oh, it's such a bad headache. Do you want me to leave, Ralph?
I can't leave.
You can't leave. I know. So it was you I was speaking to earlier when you were saying you were stuck. Why can't you leave? Well, because you're stuck. Do you want me to leave?
Hello? Okay, is this someone else I'm speaking to? What is your name? F off, mate. Jesus? Sinful. But it is dark, definitely something walking around in there. You're not sure how to leave? How are you not hearing that yet? What the Yes. That was all Johan needed. Between the bizarre responses coming through his device and the deeply unsettling sounds closing in from the surrounding darkness, he made the call to wrap things up before fear made sleep impossible. But even tucked inside his sleeping bag, that creeping, inexplicable feeling refused to leave him alone, making for a long and restless night. It was an experience that left Johan with far more questions than he started with, pulling him even deeper into the mystery of what separates the world of the living from whatever lies beyond it.